गली गली में सबने अपने टैग में डाल दिया डिजिटल मार्केटर.
When I used to work with a news channel, we used to master the art of creating clickbaits. Why just can't I drop out from my college? And then my answer would be very simple. Hey dude, that fellow has dropped out from Harvard. You first of all get into the Harvard and then think of dropping out, right?
Mr. Tanmay, hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
too.
can you quickly give us an intro about who you are, what you do, and why you decided to come on the podcast?
So, hi, my name is Tanmay. I'm founder at this agency called MeDigit. MeDigit is a performance-driven marketing agency. We are in the business of digital marketing, and I have been handling this agency for past 10 years now. I came across your podcast and I thought that it's really a good initiative for anybody who wants to understand how leaders think and how people chase their dreams. I thought it would be great to connect with people via this medium, so we are here now.
Yeah. So, how I want to know about your career. Like, how did you start, and why did you end up in the, let's say, marketing industry?
This journey has been a series of incidents, I would say, that happened, good incidents that happened, and which eventually led to this stage in my career. It dates back to 2008 when I completed my PG in communication management. That led me to a job in digital marketing, and I worked in digital marketing area for more than 5 years, and then I decided I would start something on my own. I started MeDigit in the year of 2013. So I would say quite a lot of things that led to each and every decision that happened. So for example, when I used to study communication management, I was not very keen to get into advertising. However, strange it sounds, but digital marketing is something that just occurred to me. So while studying communication management, I figured that while I may not be really good at creating advertisements or designing communication languages, I thought I would definitely be good at technology. And eventually I had an inclination towards technologies, web mobile applications, which eventually led me to an area in marketing and advertisements, which is digital marketing. uh, Eventually what happened is, after my communication management studies, I got into first job, which was of digital marketing only, wherein I was supposed to start a digital division for a media company. So I used to work with Star, and we were launching our digital business, and I was one of the very first few people who had joined that team. We were looking into establishing YouTube channels, social media accounts, websites, and that experience particularly led me to conceptualize new products, conceptualize how people react to social media. And that was a time in 2008 when the digital boom was happening. We call it .com boom, and quite a lot of .com startups had flourished. So I used to follow those very keenly. Eventually I realized that, okay, more than digital marketing, what I'm enjoying is creating new products. What I'm enjoying is understanding how people react to the .com boom, to the digital way of life. And that eventually led me to my next job. My next assignment was with a company called moneycontrol.com, where I used to take care of a particular division on that website, which is called message board. Those were the days of 2010 where social media was just emerging, and people from web 1.0 we were moving on to web 2.0 technologies. 2.0 technologies is where we look at how social media comes in place, how blogs comes in place, how forums comes in place. So message board, as I'm saying, the money control websites, one of the part, is something which I took up as a challenge. My job was to look at that particular message board and ensure that more and more people engages with the platform, more and more people talks to the platform, engages with each other. So that is where I got quite intrigued as to how people behave online, how people talk to each other, how you can actually drive conversations. And then there is this whole talk about uh, how web 2.0 has given power to the consumer, have web 2.0 has given power in hands of users. We now have a voice, we now have our own opinion that we could share on internet. Then that entire thing, in next 10 years, change the way we behave on internet. If you have a complaint today, you go to Twitter. If you want to talk to a brand, you go to Facebook. If you want to share something about a brand, you go to Instagram. And this is the whole behavior which actually started 10 years back, when people started getting this power in their hand. So that is something was very fascinating to me, and that's where I work in money control. And then came my next job, which was about analyzing the data of what people talk on internet. So then I thought, why shouldn't I look at how people behave online, how people react to a brand's communication. And that's where I got into AC Nielsen, to look into the social media analytics, to look at how people listen to what people are saying on internet. And depending on that, what they are saying, we would present market research reports, we would present brand health reports to clients. So this is all series of different experiences that I got, which eventually led me to start on my own one day. And then I started with Middigit. So yeah, that's where we are now. And
It sounds like you're saying, when you describe marketing, it sounds like a lot of it has a lot to do with human psychology, about how humans think. So what have you understood so far out of your so many years of experience about humans and marketing? How can we influence them in specific ways?
So see, everything around us is a communication. Okay, be it cognitive, be it incognitive, be it direct, be it indirect. The things that we see, the symbols that we see, the language that we speak, everything talks. There's a reason why you're wearing a black jacket today, I'm wearing a white shirt today. Everything has a symbol, everything has a communication to it. Why do we offer sweets when there is a good occasion? And why we don't offer, let's say, sour things on a good occasion? Why there is a particular kind of clothing that we wear at a function? Everything is communication, and that is imbibed in our culture, that is imbibed in our lifestyle, that is imbibed in the way we live. So advertising and marketing is one area where people are making the most of it. The way our symbols, our culture, our communication language talks to each other. Advertising is a reflection of how this has evolved over a period of time. And that is something that I really get interested about. Just to give you an example, because the example I gave, the sweets that we give each other when there is a good occasion. And Cadbury has made a brand out of it. Cadbury has made their product replacement of how a sweet can be offered on a good occasion. Why doesn't any cola brand do that? They can't do it, because that's not part of the culture. So this is how you create your product as a metaphor of what you want to communicate, and you communicate that using creative, interesting stories, and then eventually it becomes a brand. So that is something that is very fascinating for me.
But isn't that subjective geographically? Meaning, I've read something where in some tribes in Africa, when you show them the color green, they don't know what it is. They're like, what is this? So
yeah, so it's very true. It changes for culture to culture. I mean, why even African country? This language changes every 30 kilometers in India. As it's said, in India. It's a very Indian concept to me, actually. We look at India as one country, as in any MNC will look at India as one country. But if you go deeper, and if you look at how national brand is marketing themselves across the country, you will see 30 different plans happening. For each state there is a communication plan, for each state there is a marketing strategy, and it is different for everyone. very random example, we have this, if you remember Hamara Bajaj advertisement, Buland Bharat ki Buland Tasveer, and if you have seen that advertisement, there is a kid in that advertisement who puts a swastik mark on the Bajaj scooter. Imagine showing this ad to somebody who is from Germany and showing that swastik mark in an advertisement. That would be a completely offending communication to a German. But while in India, it's a symbol of auspiciousness. So this is how it changes, and that's what very interesting is all about. If you, and we have seen so many other examples where controversies have happened, where communication has failed or communication did not work for the culture that you are talking about. So that's something where marketing comes into picture, and marketing is always a reflection of what society is thinking about.
Can you talk about your most successful campaign ever? What was it? Who did you work for, and how did you achieve?
Well, that's a difficult one to answer, but I would say,
Meaning where your marketing campaign was just genius. It just worked amazing.
So I would say I'm not more of, as I said, when I started this talk, I'm not more of a marketeer. I would say that I am good at analyzing what's happening. I am good at looking at how people behave, how people think, and using that as a study to sort of create new products, because that's where the interest lies, or create new ways of reaching out to people. In terms of communication, if you ask me what would be the most interesting campaign for us, well, I think it's a tough one to answer. But in recent past, we have done several such campaigns for a healthcare brand. The brand is called Fable, where it's India's first BP and sugar monitoring app. Basically, an app, like the way you track your footsteps on a mobile app using an app like Strava or app like Apple Health. This particular app helps you track your BP and sugar data on daily basis. And we have done several campaigns for this particular brand, wherein we have tried to capture the problems faced by people who have chronic diseases, the BP and diabetes kind of diseases. And the communication would say that the tagline used to say, "Fable hai to manageable hai." So Fable makes it manageable. This is the communication line. While I wouldn't say that we created this line, this line was something that was created by the creative agency who did the whole marketing research and came up with this whole idea. But I would say that this is one line which actually resonated quite well with the audience, and basis this line, we created several digital marketing campaigns which helped us get more users on the website.
So is it just ki as simple as a tagline can make such a big difference?
Of course, I mean, so tagline is something that reflects what your brand is all about. Imagine McDonald's without "I'm loving it," or imagine thumbs up without "taste the thunder." Not possible. I mean, tagline is something that gives your brands a personality, gives your brand an extension of what the brand is all about. So it's a must-have, and there are very good brands. There are quite a lot of such brands actually who have understood the meaning of tagline, created something, and then it kind of resonated very well with the audience. So it's a must-have.
So I want to talk about the competitiveness of this industry right now, where गली गली में सबने अपने टैग में डाल दिया डिजिटल मार्केटर you are aware of this probably.
Yeah.
So what makes you different, and do you just have the first mover advantage of coming in early, or is it about skill also?
See, as long as a market is concerned, now if there is a demand, there is a supply. Market's rule is very simple. And why are there so many digital marketeers in the country today? Maybe because there is so much of demand. Okay. Maybe there are other reasons. I would say there is a very low entry barrier to a digital marketing job or a business. It's quite easy to understand. There is not really a identifier basis which you can actually identify ye acha hai, ye bura hai. You can't actually compare to digital market. Yeah, so quite a lot of things are there, and I really don't want to get into it. But what I think is, for us, we do believe that, as our tagline says, and we were just talking about tagline. Our tagline says, brilliance in action, and what it really means, and that is what we strive to, kind of achieve every day, is whatever we do has to have that excellence, has to have that quality, has to have that, standards of what, what a best brand in the world would do. So if you continue doing good work, I think everything else will follow, and nothing else matters actually. If you're doing good work, then everything else will follow. That's what we have been living by. And apart from this, yeah, I think there might be this first mover advantage we started way back in 2013, but I don't really think that's such a major differentiator, because marketing field itself, particularly digital marketing, is changing so fast. It's evolving every day, and there are quite a few talented people out there who are doing really good stuff. So I won't say that's a major differentiator, but yeah, I think just believing in yourself and doing your work well is good enough for you to go far.
You worked with quite a lot of well-known companies and big brands. So I want to ask you about them. Like, why don't they just create an in-house team that does all their marketing, and why does the agency business even exist?
Okay, yeah, that's a very interesting one, because see, marketing is a collaboration business. Okay, it's a business where minds need to collaborate. It's a business where people need to think innovatively. People need to come up with new ideas, and you really need a team of experts to do that. Okay, uh, it's not that people are not doing it in-house. Okay, quite a lot of brands have their own in-house marketing division, digital marketing experts, and they have been doing it well. Obviously there is a flip side to it, where quite a lot of brands actually depend on agency, or rather experts, to do the job, and both have their own pros and cons. I would say the only reason why agencies exist, and why agencies are going to remain as an inevitable part of the industry, is because we are focused. We know what we are doing, and we know it at the depth. So imagine, and we have experience across several industries, across several domains. We understand the market, and that's part of our DNA. So and that is quite an important thing to have, because imagine, let's say for example, automobile company, wanting to have the digital marketing in house. Maybe their life is surrounded by automobiles the whole day, and they will not be able to think beyond that particular domain the whole day. While sitting on the other side of the table, agency like us will have an experience of multiple areas in the world, and that actually translates into cross domain expertise, you can say, which helps. So basically that is why agencies thrive. That is why agencies remain in the picture, and we still become relevant for them, because we come up with those new ideas which they may not have thought of. And as long as you are doing, as I said, good work, come up with good ideas, you are going to be in the business. So that's how it is.
Do you believe in creating controversial pieces of advertising? Because as the saying goes, negative news is still good for the business and all.
Yeah. So it is true that any publicity is a good publicity. However, it is always wise for a country like India to remain non-controversial, I would say. Stirring a controversy is good when it's done in right way. But if controversy goes beyond your control, then it's quite difficult to manage. I would say we have seen examples where brands started, not necessarily they started it, but they got into a controversy. Just relook at those days where Cadbury had jam in their chocolate, and that controversy itself got so viral. It was quite difficult for a brand to manage it. Or for that matter, if you think of any brand which let's say creates a controversial advertisement. For example, We have seen quite a few brands doing you know, bold and controversial advertisements which wouldn't have, you know, set by the I would say accepted by the society as a standard, you know, today. uh, but somewhere, you know, it kind of helps the brand only if they are able to manage it. So उतना करो जितना मैनेज कर सकते हो, और ये भी मत करो कि जिससे यू नो आपका जो इमेज है, जो ब्रांड है, जो कोर ऑफ योर एग्जिस्टेंस, यू नो, वो ही ख़त्म हो जाए. तो इट्स नॉट बैड स्ट्रैटेजी टू हैव, but as a person I would say we are the ones who would want to remain away from the controversy and rather do brand building in a very positive way, because positive brand building lasts longer than the controversial brand building. How many of us remembers Rakhi Sawant today? You know, a very good example of somebody who used to do controversial marketing. So brands are not built basis the controversial marketing. Yeah, for a tactical campaign for 1 or 2 days you might want to do it, but it's not your sustainable strategy if I talk about a core of any brand.
It's fine. Yeah, you made good points on controversy, but in general, also I've seen that negative titles get more clicks than positive ones. Let's say, 10 ways to increase hair growth will get less clicks than 10 ways to avoid hair growth. So if you sell that fear factor or some kind of negative emotion, it generally performs
Correct.
better.
So that is definitely truth, because this is again, you know, not something that builds a brand. This is more like a tactical campaign. Tactical campaign is where you look at immediate return. Maybe your one particular campaign, your one particular let's say you know, set of advertisements is where you might want to do this. It definitely gets you attraction, and we have done actually quite a lot of it, because when I used to work with a news channel, we used to master the art of creating clickbaits. I would say clickbaits is where you kind of create a headline or create a copy where people would want to click. So it's always good, but what happens as a result of it, now if your content doesn't deliver on the promise that it says, so for example, you know, let's say your article says that Rohit Sharma ki ye tasveer dekhkar aap chauk jaoge, and people will click on it, and then when they land on a page where they don't see anything worth the kind of hoopla that you created, it eventually is going to fail, right? So as I said, you know, do it only if you are able to prove it, and if you're not going to be, you know, able to prove it, then it's eventually going to fail. So it's good to do, and I would actually, you know, suggest digital marketers or whoever is watching the podcast, you know, go for this, do something which nobody else is doing, and create that sort of curiosity, you know, and that will eventually drive traffic and interest among people for you. But idea is to, you know, do it consistently, so that and delivering on, you know, what you're promising, so that people are able to stick to you for longer.
What are the various methods of, you could say, advertising you use to make a product successful? Like, let's say SEO or so all the other different mediums. What all do you guys use?
Yeah, so again, a very interesting question, because if there was a set template, I wouldn't be in business. So there is no set template. You know, there is no universal truth that will apply to everyone. It depends on brand to brand. It depends on case to case. However, if you see the template of digital marketing, the marketing template will talk about SEO कर लो, social media कर लो, advertising कर लो, you know, videos create करो, आप local business listing कर लो, ठीक है? Those templates are available. You just do a Google search, you will find millions of search results which will tell you what to do in digital marketing. The most important part of it is, you know, how to do it and how to make it relevant, right? So question is, you know, it's not about what to do. Okay, you must do everything. I mean, you can't ignore SEO in today's world. You can't ignore social media in today's world. You can't ignore, you know, YouTube in today's world, for example. But question is, what is the purpose? Whether your brand has a purpose to do something around content. If your brand's purpose is not to engage with people, you don't really need to focus on social media. If your brand's purpose is not to be present on Google, you don't really need to do SEO for your website. So just imagine this, you look at the brand's purpose, you look at what's the purpose of communication, and accordingly craft a strategy around it. And I can give you thousands of examples which may not be following a template, may not be following a standard methods, but they are still successful. So it's all about how you strategize your brand's communication and eventually achieve the goal or purpose that your brand wants to achieve.
So should one use all the mediums or just say ki, okay, ye three will get the best results for us, let's double down on these three strategies?
I would say that you look at your strategy in two aspects. Okay, one is your short-term strategy, which is your immediate goals. Now, immediate goal could be पैसा बनाना है, immediate goal could be users acquire करने हैं, immediate goal could be lead generate करनी है, ठीक है. That is your short-term goal, and for that short-term goal, you define a set of areas where you want to do marketing. So it could be your ad campaign, it could be Google ads, it could be Facebook ad, it could be affiliate marketing, it could be e-commerce advertising campaigns, could be anything. एंड वो जो शॉर्ट टर्म गोल होता है दैट इवेंचुअली गिव्स यू द bang for your bucks. It gives you immediate returns. It gives you that confidence to continue doing your digital marketing and keeps your ball rolling. But believe me, that short term strategy is not going to generate any brand image. तो ब्रांड इमेज पे काम करना है, अगर आपको पुल क्रिएट करना है तो कैसे क्रिएट करोगे? दैट इज़ वेयर द लॉन्ग टर्म पिक्चर विल कम इन. एंड लॉन्ग टर्म पिक्चर इज़ वेयर यू लुक एट व्हाट डज माय ब्रांड स्टैंड फॉर. ओके, इफ़ आई आस्क यू how you think a brand like let's say Cadbury stands differently from any other chocolate brand in this world today, and how a brand like Amul stands very differently from any other butter brand today in this world. And if you see that, the answer is not in that short term strategy, because वो short term strategy वो लोग नहीं करते क्या, they are doing it. They are doing those advertisements where they are able to generate the eyeballs and get their product sold. But जो long term vision है, that long term vision is where they have been able to craft their own story. So examples like कुछ मीठा हो जाए campaign where they actually invited people from social media to contribute to कुछ मीठा हो जाए campaign, and that resonated so well with people felt belonged to the brand. You think of Mary Maggie campaign, people started contributing and people are still contributing, and they feel that the story of my Maggie is my own story and that brand belongs to me. And this is where they found their own truth, they found their own purpose. Yaar, what does my brand stand for? If my brand stands for those moments of little joys when I'm having my Maggie, then you kind of you digitalize it. तो डिजिटल जो है वो तो टूल प्रोवाइड करता है ना, दैट्स अ टूल सेट ऑफ टूल्स विच यू यूज टू काइंड ऑफ create your message, communicate your message, connect with people to contribute to your idea. But eventually अगर वो पर्पज़ आप सॉल्व नहीं कर रहे हो, then everything fails. So वो लॉन्ग टर्म है, वो पर्पज़ है आपका, and that is where you need to utilize digital to create those stories.
Can you talk about when you were just starting your business, how did you manage to get your first few clients, of course?
So as I said, when I started, again a very interesting thing, may not be quite, I don't think quite a lot of people knows about this. Okay, but when I started in 2000 and I had left my job in mid 2012. I used to live in Mumbai, and it was not like a company setup or an office setup. Okay, I was more like a individual consultant who would help my clients or my people whom I used to work with the marketing requirements, branding requirements. And same question, यार पैसा कैसे आएगा, clients कैसे बनाएंगे, ठीक है. And your immediate client or first set of clients are always your friends and family. So what you do is, within your own network of friends, colleagues, families, you start spreading this word around that, I'm doing something like this and this is something that I can help you with. And from there, you kind of get your first couple of clients, and the business starts rolling in. And then one thing leads to another, ये बंदा उसका रेफरेंस देता है, वो बंदा उसका रेफरेंस देता है, and slowly and steadily, you kind of start getting new clients on board, and at the same time expanding your horizon. So more than acquiring a client there, the idea was to expand the horizon, build that network, get visibility about what would work or what kind of services I could sell, and creating that particular business model around mid-digit. That was, I think, more interesting part in first few months journey for me.
So mainly referral से आया सब.
Referral.
Okay, so right now, is it still referrals, or do you have some kind of sales team that finds new clients? What is the scene right now?
So I would say I have been privileged enough to get a lot of referrals, and that's mostly because we have been doing good work, and people who work with us, they tend to refer to others. So that's more or less the story. But at the same time, we have been doing our bit of marketing in terms of managing social media content for our own presence, or running Google ads for brand visibility, for websites visibility, and that is helping us generate leads. But yeah, that is how it is. Largely our growth has been organic, and that is largely through the references that we have got, and that is one of the strongest reason why we have been able to stay in business for such long time. So, and I strongly believe in the power of organic growth, so that has helped.
Are you a workaholic?
Definitely yes.
Then what? So you just work, no passions, no hobbies, nothing.
Oh,
Define
so this is
to
passion.
what level? Yeah.
This is passion for sure. Because had this not been a passion, I wouldn't have chased this business for so long. So it's been 10 years, I think, good enough time for anybody to sort of get bored with single piece of thing that they do. So this business has definitely been a passion, and I do give a lot of time to it. But yeah, when it comes to passion, I also am a motorcycle enthusiast. I like to ride motorcycles, so that's one thing that I do. And yeah, that's it. I think apart from this, I am very simple guy, so I am very clear that I just have these 2-3 hobbies that I follow, and that makes me happy, and I'm content with that.
Oh, do you own any of these motorcycles? How many do you own?
So I do. I own a Royal Enfield Thunderbird 500.
Like you go on long trips or just
No, long trips.
long trips?
Yeah.
Can you talk about like the best one?
Again, motorcycling comes, and the topic of motorcycling, we all have been hearing this talk about make your passion your profession, and then you won't have to work for a day in your life. And I would say that I had implemented this probably in the year when I started my business. So when I'm saying I started in 2013 with mid-digit, it was not just mid-digit. Okay, along with mid-digit, I used to actually own a portal for motorcycle riders, where we would cover stories around motorcycle rides, and that is where we would motivate people to go for a motorcycle ride, and create stories around motorcycling, and then put those stories online. And our portal used to it kind of was a community for bike riders. So, but then I had couple of partners, and then we had to shut that business for different reasons. But idea is that this is the passion for motorcycling also is as old as my passion for digital marketing. Now, when you ask me about what sort of rides you have done, so I have been riding motorcycle for more than 12-13 years now, and till today I came on my motorcycle today to the office. But apart from those short rides and all, I've been to Ladakh for 3 times, covered the entire Ladakh region, I've ridden extensively in the Konkan region. So when I used to be in Mumbai, I used to cover the. I used to actually, ride a lot in the area of from Mumbai to Goa, that Konkan region, and we've done quite a lot of rides there. So yeah, that's how it is.
So when people talk about passion ki, let's say some kids are, let's say, passionate about football, but they say I can't chase a career in it. But I would say ki it doesn't have to mean ki you are playing football. You can be the referee, you could be the commentator, you could be the guy that's standing outside the court giving the ball in when it goes outside.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, anything about it doesn't necessarily have to be a profession. Okay, that's what I believe. You make your passion a profession, but at the same time, if you are passionate about something, you will find your ways to indulge yourself in it. Okay, a very good example, of Harsha Bhogle, who has never played cricket in his life, and today we know him as one of the best analysts of cricket. And he has understood this game so well at his art that when he talks, probably everybody listens to him. So that is a pure example of how your passion can actually you know turn into a profession, even without actually being playing the sports. Or let's say if I'm interested in music, not necessarily I have to play an instrument or I have to sing something. I can still be an enthusiast and I can still be part of it and feel near to it by contributing somewhere something. So this is how it is. You just have to feel the passion and just give yourself to it.
Yeah, I heard this similar thing. Like I was in another interview with Mr. Reza, and he told me ki one girl came up to him. She wants to do architecture, but then not architecture. It was architecture journalism. So it's like कि एक प्रोफेशन है लेट्स से, और उसके अंदर like there are more than 50 sub branches now for just one any particular profession. So yeah, like there's lots of options these days for people.
Yeah, I mean, you see, India is, I would say, one of the most promising country to be, and we are probably at, as they are saying, that Amrit Kal has returned again to India. Probably next 20 years are going to be defining that moment for India. So, and that has probably resulted in so many careers. I mean, today, no more we are still thinking that, doctor and engineers are the only ones who are going to make a career. Everybody is making a career. I mean, even a bartender has a career, and they earn probably more than a doctor would be earning. The best one of those. A dancer also has a career. A magician also has a career, and stand-up comedians are also a career. So we are not limited by choices today, and we are not limited by education today. We all have opportunity available to. It's just about figuring out how you make your life around it.
What's your opinion on college degrees? Do you still need them in 2023?
We do need it. I mean, college degree is a must-have, I would say. And this has been actually one of the very interesting arguments that I have been having with quite a lot of kids. Who think that a college dropout can also make a Facebook, a college dropout can also make it Microsoft. Then why just can't I drop out from my college? And then my answer would be very simple. Hey dude, that fellow has dropped out from Harvard. You first of all get into the Harvard and then think of dropping out, right? So so idea is that it's college degree is good to have. Okay, make yourself capable enough to drop out of the college first. Okay, you just can't be cool when you just drop out of the college for no reason. And one more thing is college degree is not just about education. It gives you that so much of learning around it. I mean, one very interesting thing that I had heard when I actually joined my post graduation was that education is not just about that piece of paper that you get, but it teaches you quite a lot of things. How do you live among your peers? How do you respect people? How do you contribute to a project? How do you self learn? Or how do you work as a team? So if you don't have a college degree, I would probably think that you might have missed quite an interesting part of your life while chasing whatever else you are doing. So अगर कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं कर रहे हो तो एटलीस्ट कॉलेज तो कर लो. Otherwise, if you have something more important to do than your college, then it's fine. But just prove it. You just can't be dropping out of a college just to look cool.
And that's all I had to ask you. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you, Shrey. It was a pleasure talking to you.